Hey, it's Krysta. Thanks for being here, showing up for yourself, and being curious today. On the Rewilding Humanity podcast, we explore the depths of what it means to be human and how to come back into wholeness, physically, mentally, spiritually. Virtual high five to all you truth seekers out there. Let's get into it. Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Rewilding Humanity podcast. I am doing a solosode today. It's been a while since I've done one, and there's a few that I have planned that are going to be coming up here in the near future. And I'm going to be doing them more often. Still have tons of great guests that are lined up, but I'm like, you know what? There's some pretty potent things that I have been moving through and have been learning a lot of really cool stuff that I feel like it's time to pass on to you all. And I wanted to give some updates as well. Today's episode is going to be about trusting your body and trusting the healing process. And before we dive into all of that, I just want to take a quick second and let you guys know that I launched my fall ritual box. I think it was last week or the week before. No, it was last week. It's been 1 week. I sold half the boxes already, which is really exciting. And there's a few more left. I just wanted to let you know to head on over to Instagram and follow me at magic, magick.maven if you haven't already done that. And check out the beautiful products that I've been making. I've done a couple of episodes around one in particular about learning to talk to plants. I've just been on such an incredible journey the past year or so where my mission has been realigned to work with plants in a different way. And it's been so healing for me and such a deep remembrance. I've had many lifetimes where I have worked in the plant realm, and as this remembering is seeping through my bones again, I've just been so called to use my gifts of creating to make some really beautiful products. And so far, people have been absolutely loving them. In the box, I have my magic creamer bar, which is so cool. It looks like a chocolate bar, but it's my take on a product to make a bulletproof coffee that is infused with collagen, healthy fats, flavored with cardamom and rose, like literal rose that I hand harvested. And you break off a couple of squares, you put it in your morning coffee, blend it. It's so delicious. I've got products with ceremonial cacao, which is just such a beautiful heart-opening medicine. I just sipped on one before I sat down to start this podcast. I have beautiful flavored tinctures and flower waters and the stunning St. John's wort oil. I learned the technique of how to make this oil from this beautiful herbalist. Her name is Cami McBride. You should follow her, take her course if you are interested in learning how to make herbal oils. She's learned from some of the best in the herbal realm. She's been doing this for quite some time. And I thought her method was just so beautiful. And I made a fresh whole plant St. John's wort oil this summer that I hand harvested. And it turned out so wonderfully. So if you are interested, there are a few boxes left. Again, just head to my Instagram. I have a highlight in where the highlights are at the top of my page that says fall box. And if you click on it, you can see what went into making all of the products and how they work. And there's a whole long rant that I went on there too, really getting into like the details of all of them if you're curious. And yeah, would also just love to see you there over on Instagram. I've been creating a lot more content on there lately, and I'm going to be showing up there in new ways too here soon. I recently started sharing more about the other work that I do. The other work, it's literally the career that I've had for God, it's been like almost 18 years. It says 16 years on my website, but I have been a designer, graphics, web, branding, packaging. I've designed apps. I've done literally the whole gamut of design and marketing for 16 years. And I'm starting to share about that a little bit more. I have a lot of people in my community that are coming to me and being like, hey, I would love to work with you. I generally work with larger corporations. My career has spanned the globe, and I now work with some of the top personal growth companies in the world. I moved to Malaysia a few years ago where I worked with a company called Mind Valley. I was a senior designer there for 2.5 years. I've worked with T. Harv Eker's team for a couple of years, which was cool. I was also the creative director for the Shift Network. So all of these incredible companies that are teaching people personal growth and transformation, those are generally the folks that I work with. And I'm looking at new ways that I can offer my services to a wider variety of people. So that's something that I'm diving into right now. And I'm working on a course. I'm thinking it's going to launch in January. I'm not totally sure what it's called yet, but it's going to be epic. So I'm taking my many years of experience and all of the tips and tricks and things that I use to completely transform these brands and giving resources to a larger community that can integrate these things into their own businesses. So I will share more about that later when there's more clarity. Okay, I think that's enough pimping out and updates for now. Let's get back into this episode's topic. Learning to trust my body has been such a long and painful and difficult process, but I've had such significant shifts this summer that I want to share with you all because it's really changed things for me. And concepts that I've been exposed to in the past about, oh, body is a temple and learn to love your body and all of these things. It was something that was really difficult for me to get on board with and embody because I had struggled so long with physical health issues. I blame my body. I felt like my body was holding me back. I felt like my body was a prison. I felt like this was something that was just out of my control because I'd tried so many different things and nothing was working. And I just didn't trust my body. I didn't trust myself in many aspects. And the work that I have been doing over the past few months has several different layers. So I've been working with energy healers, coaches, a fabulous practitioner. He's been on the podcast a couple of times. Some of you guys probably know him, but Dr. Kevin Preston, if you want to go back and check out some of the episodes that he and I have done, he's going to be coming back on the podcast again here at some point. But our episodes together are some of the most downloaded. So I suggest going to have a listen of those if you haven't yet. So I've been working with homeopathy. I've been working with herbs. I've been working with mindset shifts. I've been working with people who are energetically helping me unblock from lifetimes of trauma. We talk about epigenetics and all of these things that can keep us stuck in patterns. And just having a lot of ahas and realizations of why my body was in the state that it has been. And I realized that, yes, there were many things that happened to my body that were out of my control. So I've mentioned this before on previous podcasts, but my story up until this point was had a vaccine injury as an infant, where I screamed for 3 days solid. Like my mom couldn't console me. I also came in to my mom's body, and this is not to blame or anything. It's the 80s. People did things differently back then, but I just want to share this so you can understand the level of toxicity that I was exposed to throughout my life. My mom smoked throughout her pregnancy. I then had a vaccine injury as a baby. I was only breastfed for about 3 months as an infant. And we now know that in order to create a healthy microbiome in the gut, we need to be breastfed for a significant period of time, because that's what creates all of the beneficial bacteria and things that develop our immune system, are like so critical just to function in a vibrant body. So I didn't have that, which really reflects all of the constant infections and things that I got for many years as a child. And those infections were treated with antibiotics. So I was probably on antibiotics a good 10 to 12 times a year for the first 23 years of my life. No fucking joke. And working with Kevin, I now understand the effects of that, because what happens is these antibiotics actually end up suppressing some things. Yes, it can help, and antibiotics can be absolutely life-saving. But when you have these chronic conditions and you keep using these medications, number one, you're destroying your microbiome. Number two, it's actually driving some of these bacteria and viruses and things deeper into your body. And that's exactly what we found. When I started working with him and we did testing, he's like, dude, you are full of these bacteria and viruses. And I see parasites. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense, because I've traveled the world and I drank tap water from my tap in Malaysia for the first 3 months that I lived there, because I thought it was filtered and it wasn't. I had like stomach cramps and diarrhea for half the fucking time that I lived there. I was there for 2.5 years. I've had horrendous food poisoning in Peru. I've swam in the Amazon River. Like, you can pick up parasites through your feet and all of these things, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, body was probably really overloaded with stuff, definitely overloaded with stuff. And as I think back to my early adolescence, or as I was going into my teenage years, when I started getting panic attacks, for example. So my depression started when I was 14, which was the year that I went on the pill. And then a couple of years later, I started getting severe panic attacks right after I had a surgery where they gave me a very strong antibiotic. This panic attack ended up in PTSD because I was so traumatized that I ended up having panic attacks every single night because of the same trigger, which for me was just getting into my bed to go to sleep at night. So that's when the first panic attack happened. It scared me so much. I went and woke up my mom and I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I didn't understand what it was. And all I knew was that it felt like the time that I bad tripped on mushrooms once. I was 16 at the time when this happened. And I woke her up and I was like, Mom, I don't know what's going on. It feels like I did mushrooms, but I didn't do mushrooms. And she's, what the fuck? And she got all mad at me. She's like, what did you do? Did you do drugs? And I'm like, no, like, I just told you I didn't do drugs. And so that created more layers of trauma on top of that. You can see how these illnesses, and I'm doing this in air quotes, that I've had over the years, so throat infections, anxiety, depression, all of these things, I'm now really pinpointing them to side effects of pharma, right? So we've got the vaccine injuries, we've got the, yes, not having the great microbiome, but like all of the antibiotics, we've got the pill, okay? And then as I start to enter my 20s, that's when my health really starts collapsing. So my body had been carrying all of this toxin overload for so long that now, quote unquote, autoimmune stuff starts coming up, right? I gained 40 pounds. I was also eating a fucking savage. The stuff that I used to eat was just absolutely horrendous. but gained a ton of weight. Like now my joints are so inflamed. I'm in so much pain. I can barely get out of bed. The depression is so severe. Oh God, it was so bad. It was so bad back then. And all the while, I'm numbing out with alcohol, with drugs. I partied like a fucking rock star in my 20s. So with all of these realizations, I'm looking at my body in a whole new light where I'm just mourning for myself and realizing the huge part that I had to play in the condition that I was in. That is getting a lot better, and I'm going to share more about that. So I think taking responsibility for that and not blaming body, my poor body, it's just been an onslaught from the very beginning, not properly set up, and then just getting hit with all of this stuff. And so what I recognize now is, holy shit, am I ever strong? Holy shit, my body has carried me through all of that and still functions every day. Yes, some days are so hard that I wanted to give up. But now I can see why the condition was like, I was in such bad shape. There's so many layers, so many layers. So now with all of this recognition, I'm going, okay, I'm looking at body in a completely different way. Now, for those of you that may or may not know, I'm a Virgo sun. And Virgos can be very critical. And a lot of that ends up coming back on myself. And being a Libra rising, I'm always looking for balance and beauty and all of these things. My body has changed significantly in the past couple of years since I've gone off of all of the pharma and started on this new level of healing. And what that's looked like for me is gaining 20 pounds, all of my symptoms flaring as I'm working with Kevin with these homeopathic remedies. As this stuff is clearing, as we're working on the viruses and bacteria and all these things, as it's clearing, it hurts. It hurts a great deal. So last spring, so it's currently early November, throughout the spring, my detox symptoms were so bad that I could barely walk down the street. I knew that I needed exercise and I'd go for a walk and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get home just a block away. It was so bad. It was so painful. But that's the level of toxicity that was living in my body that I was just pushing to the side and still going for hikes and pushing and like creating businesses and doing all these things, like just pushing through these symptoms that I've had for years. And I'm just like, now I'm just so in awe of this vehicle that my soul is sitting in and being like, wow, you are actually pretty miraculous. The fact that you have kept going through all of this is wild, is absolutely wild. And going back to that critical nature, I've had this gaze upon myself for years where it's, you're fat, you're not good enough. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why can't you get your shit together? You're not working out hard enough. There's clearly something wrong. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. That is the energy that I have had directed at myself pretty much my whole life. And seeing my body shift so much recently with the weight gain and the cystic acne that has been coming up. I've been on birth control, you guys. Like, I only got off birth control a year and a half, 2 years ago because I was so terrified of the repercussions of it, because I know that when I go off of it, my skin starts flaring up, my periods get gnarly, all of these things. But it got to the point where like I had to, I just couldn't be on it anymore. I was getting really weird symptoms and things. So I'm now 39 years old and I have the skin of a fucking teenager for the past year and a half. And it's embarrassing and it sucks and it's painful. It started getting so bad where I was breaking out on my back. And I was just like, how am I here again? How am I here again? Like, why is this never fucking ending? Why does this never end for me? 40 years almost into this journey, and I'm still dealing with this shit. So it's been such a radical experiment in just trusting the process and letting go and learning to love myself even when I look in the mirror and it's not perfect. I don't think I'm ever going to have that body that I've always wanted. That's just not how I'm built. But I do think I will have a body that is free of pain. And I do know that I will have a body that can walk 1,000 kilometers and do the Camino de Santiago. This is one of my dreams, is to walk the Camino de Santiago. It's this pilgrimage through Spain. If you've never watched the movie The Way, I highly recommend it. It was one of those movies that just got me so into traveling years ago. And I've wanted to have this experience ever since I've watched that movie. So I highly recommend it. It's beautiful. But for many years, I had just resigned to the thought of, I'm never going to be able to do this. Where I'm at now is interesting. Okay. Let me share another experience that just recently happened. So I have finally just started to feel some shifts. This has been such a long process for me. And it's been frustrating because I'm seeing other people get results faster than me. My mom, for example. So my mom's health has not been good for several years. And one of her conditions was getting so bad that it was really hard for her to function. And I made an appointment for her to go see Kevin, the practitioner that I'm working with. And she's pretty much cured. She's done. She's done her cycle with him pretty much. And I'm still in it. And I'm going, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? And in my mind, I'm just, okay, yeah. So I feel like a lot of the reasons that I'm in the condition that I'm in is because of you in a way, right? And again, I know this is not blaming, love my mom, all the things, but this is just some of the stuff that comes up in my mind. And then you get to get healed right away, and I'm still in it. The unfairness of it. And Kevin and I had a conversation about it, and I've seen this happen before. But generally what happens is the ones that have the most work to expel all the things, once health is restored, it's like the most vibrant level of it. And I'm like, I certainly fucking hope so. I certainly hope that's the case. But it was also a really beautiful example of, wow, okay, this really works. This really works. It helped me stay the path of continuing to take these remedies and be consistent with it. Because that's something that I've struggled with in the past, is consistency. And that's really what you need to do in order to get to that level of clearing of all of the toxicity and get to where you want to be. Now, I was starting to feel pretty good in September. Pretty good. I'm like, oh, okay, my joints are limbering up a little bit. That was one of the most brutal things through this process of clearing these virus and bacteria and parasites and stuff. I felt like I was 80. My joints hurt so bad. Some days I could barely walk up the stairs. Fuck exercise. I used to be super active. I've barely been able to work out in the year since starting all of this stuff. I really had to dial things down and be super gentle with myself. Super gentle. And I've shifted everything. I used to be so strict with food, counting all of the calories, doing every single fucking diet, restricting all of these different things, trying to look a certain way and feel a certain way. And I have just thrown all of that into the trash. Even with the weight gain, I realized that it's hormonal and it's also water weight. I have some issues with my adrenals and my kidneys just from all of the traumatic stuff that I went over. And so I get quite a bit of water retention around my ankles, my legs. So I realized that the weight that I have on my body right now is a combination of like hormones and water retention. It's not fat. It's not from what I'm eating. I eat super healthy, but I also focus on balance and not restriction. When I have done really restrictive things in the past, I have injured myself. I've literally lost organs from doing restrictive diets. In my 20s, I did something called the HCG diet. I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast before. This shit pisses me off, and I can't even believe that naturopaths still put people on this diet. But I was seeing a naturopath. I wanted to lose weight, and they put me on this diet where you take like these HCG, they're like pregnancy hormones or something, and you eat 500 calories a day. And when the weight stops coming off or it plateaus, you have what's called apple day, and you just eat apples for the whole day, which is insane. It's absolutely insane. I lost 20 pounds in a month because I was starving myself. And then I ended up in the hospital with gallstones, and I was jaundiced. My liver was failing. I'm laying in the hospital waiting for this surgery, and fuck, do I ever regret this? Because it could have been handled completely differently, but this is all I knew at the time. I'm laying in bed waiting for surgery for this gallstone, or for them to take out my gallbladder. And I get up to go to the bathroom, and I look in the mirror, and I'm yellow. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I call the nurse, and she's, okay, that's really bad. Yeah, we need to get you into surgery ASAP. My liver was literally failing because of this diet. And I'm not the only one. This happens a lot. I know people who have gone on, it's called the Dr. Bernstein diet. And it's basically the exact same thing as the HCG diet. And naturopaths are promoting this still, you guys. It's so crazy to me. It's so crazy. I almost died from this diet. So again, the stuff that I've put my body through, this is another layer. All of the diets, all the restrictions. I used to eat 1,200 calories a day for years and would get on a treadmill and run and just everything that I could to try to lose weight. And I still, even with all of that, I still couldn't I couldn't lose weight past 140 pounds. To get to 140 pounds, I basically had to fucking kill myself. And 140 pounds for me on my frame, it's not skinny. My body's just not built to be skinny, and it didn't want to do that. What I was trying to force on my body with all the inflammation and all of these other layers, I think back to it now, and I'm just like, oh my God, body, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I did this to you. I'm so sorry I did this to you. I'm so sorry that I blamed everyone and everything else except for me. And I think of this body, and I talk to this body in such a different way now. And I do everything to protect myself. I stopped drinking in January. It's been it's almost a year now. I don't think I'm ever going to go back. Maybe in Europe, might have a glass of wine or something, but there's nothing about improving health from drinking alcohol. And I'm tired of harming myself. I am doing everything I can now to protect myself, because I realize how much this body has been through. So it's almost like I think of body as it is me, but it's also something, it's a gift that I've been given from Gaia, because these bodies, they come from this earth, and they're miraculous vehicles. Unfortunately, the society that we live in and all of the toxicity in the foods and all of the things can really harm them. And we're seeing what that imbalance looks like on a worldwide scale right now. But we need to get back to looking at these vehicles as something precious and something to protect and to take care of. So when I think back to all of the partying that I used to do, and oh my God, yeah, my 20s, my drug, sex, and rock and roll era. Yeah, the drugs, the alcohol, the sleeping around, all of the things. When I think back to all of that now, I'm just like, ugh, regrets. And I used to just put all of that kind of stuff on a pedestal. I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so cool. So I'm very grateful for the shifts that have happened. And I've had a lot of support through wonderful mentors where we really did some deep diving into energy through meditation, through going into my Akashic records, all of this kind of woo-woo stuff. It legit has shifted things so much for me. I have been working with Dr. Haley Michelson. She's also been on the podcast. Go back, dig around, listen to her podcast as well if you haven't yet. She's such a gem. I absolutely love her, and she's been so supportive of this process for me. We really did a lot of work around my critical thinking towards self, and a lot of these reframing processes. And it's made such a huge difference. And I also had an interesting experience just recently that was very frustrating, but I'm seeing why it's happened now. So a couple of weeks ago, it's been about a month ago now, I was hiking and I drank from stream. And I was like, just in the moment, and I was like, oh, it looks so beautiful and fresh and clean. And I was out of water and I was thirsty. So I took my water bottle and I scooped some water up from a stream. And I think back to it now and I'm like, why did I do this? It was just, part of me is just so upset that we can't just freely drink from streams because everything is fucking poison. But I'm also like, okay, Krysta, for really protecting your health, we shouldn't have done that. Anyway, I was just having a moment and I drank from the stream and I started to feel dysbiosis starting to come in throughout the week. And I was like, fuck. And by the following weekend, I actually had a pretty scary incident where the stomach cramping that I was experiencing was so bad that I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. So I was quite upset. And then I just thought, okay, I have tools. I have all the tools. I can do this. I reached out to healthcare practitioners. Nobody responded to me that day, which I thought was really interesting because I think this was an opportunity for me to strengthen my relationship with my body. So as I was going through these intense cramps and I was like really scared, and when your guts are fucked up, you guys, huge anxiety comes up, close to panic, all of these things. It was a reminder of how when your guts are off, like how it can literally change your entire personality. It's crazy. Parasites and stuff. I honestly feel like people who have schizophrenia and like all of these debilitating mental issues, I think a lot of it is from gut stuff. As I was going through all of this pain, I was like, homeopathy. I have homeopathy. I have so much of it. And so I grabbed one remedy. It's called Nux vomica. And I took one tiny tablet and within 10 minutes, the cramping stopped. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the relief, like when you're in that much pain and then it dissipates so quickly, it feels like you have a whole new lease on life. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. I was also praying the entire time. I was talking to my guides. I was like, please help me. Like, why is this happening? So I had that bit of relief. And then I was like, okay, wait, I have all the things. I have herbs. I have all of the stuff. So I went and grabbed some grapefruit seed extract. I also had some herbs, some pills from a past SIBO situation that I had years ago, which was absolutely fucking horrendous. But these herbs made such a huge difference. And I just started taking all of this stuff. So I was consistent with that for about 5 days and was feeling so much better, so much better. And I was like, yes, I did this. I did this all by myself. I'm so proud of myself. And yay, body, we did this. And for a couple of weeks, it was dicey. My digestion was off and I wasn't having proper bowel movements, but it was getting better. And so I was just feeling great and really proud of myself and yay, progress. And then I noticed a couple of things started to happen. I wasn't consistent enough with those herbs and the remedies that I was taking. And I could feel that whatever, I'm pretty sure it's a parasite. I could feel it starting to raise its head again and to take control of my system. And because I've been practicing so much intuitive stuff and embodiment, I'm so cognizant of what's happening in my body. And I could feel my microbiome shift. I could feel almost energetically just something foreign moving in my body. And so now this anxiety starts popping up and joint pain really starts flaring. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, I didn't get it all. So started a new remedy with Kevin, focusing on some gut stuff. And then I just went and grabbed a parasite cleanse from the health food store. Only took one dose of it, and holy shit, you guys, like the next day, I was like, I don't think I've ever felt so good. So I wish I had integrated this parasite cleanse with the herbs earlier, because I think this is going to make a huge shift. But it was so crazy. Just from this parasite, I noticed huge joint pain, anxiety, a bit of depression popping up. My skin, my hormones were all fucked up. I got my period an entire week early. I had huge breakout. My skin was getting so much better. I was like, oh, yay, I'm finally having shifts with my hormones. All of that stuff caused by parasites. Okay. So when people are complaining of mental health, when they're complaining about hormone issues, when they're complaining about all of these different things that we're getting put on antidepressants and fucking, oh my God, what is that antibiotic that people get put on for acne? Accutane. These types of things that are just literally destroying our health. And really all of the root cause of all of these things are things like viruses, bacteria, and parasites. It's so frustrating, but it was such a good reminder for me of, whoa, okay, these are the huge shifts that you feel in the body when you have these little foreign invaders and stuff that come in. But it's all totally treatable, which is amazing. And I'm so proud of my body. I'm so grateful for plants and herbs and homeopathy and energy medicine and all of the incredible people that have come into my life that have helped me along on this journey. Yeah. Where I'm currently at is I woke up this morning feeling fucking phenomenal. I went to the forest. I jogged. I ran down hills. You guys, like my joints have been hurting so bad that, oh man, like I've had to walk so slowly on hikes, which is its own medicine in a way where I've just been like more intentional and slow and just interacting with the plants and things around me, being active. And I was so active this morning and it felt so wonderful. And I had no joint pain. And I was just like, oh my God, I feel like I have a new lease on life. So there have been big shifts that are finally starting to happen. And so I'm going to be sharing more of that over the next few months. I'm hoping there's going to be a lot more movement in the right direction, but I feel it. It's like, I feel like I'm finally getting a hold of it. And I do feel more vibrancy and like my organ systems are starting to lighten up a little bit. That's a lot of the work that I've been doing with Kev too, with the homeopathy. It's like really supporting the organ systems that have been bogged down for so long. I feel that resilience coming back into the body, which is great. So when I have to do, like when I do a parasite cleanse or whatever, my body is going to be able to keep up with it. Also, sauna. I didn't mention this, but sauna. Like when you're doing detoxes, when you're doing parasite cleanses, when you're doing all this sort of stuff, you need to be able to get it out. You have to have binders. I've been taking diatomaceous earth and charcoal, all of those things to help cleanse it out. And then sweating, super, super important. And loving your body while going through the process, loving yourself while going through the process. I can finally say that I'm one of those people that loves themselves. That is something that I never thought I'd ever be able to say. I never thought I would be able to say that. And I truly love myself and I love this body, and I will do whatever I need to protect it and to share this message, because this is where we need to get in our healing journey in order to actually heal. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big one. Okay. I think that's it. I think I've shared everything that I needed to share on this episode. I might have been a little bit all over the place. I hope that I was able to impart some wisdom or some ahas. If anything, if something jumped out at you and you want to talk to me about it, please reach out. Follow me on Instagram. I mentioned it at the beginning of the episode, Magic Maven. Hit me up. I love it when people come to me and are just like, hey, I'm going through this. Do you have any suggestions? I have so many tips and tools, you guys, so many fucking tips and tools. It's been like years of going through this. And I feel like I really understand the root cause of all of the things. I have so many amazing people in my network too that I love recommending people to. So yeah, hit me up. I would love, love, love to hear from you. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. If you made it to the end of this episode, I truly appreciate your support. If this resonated with you and you want to share it, please do. I really rely on growing this podcast organically by you liking and sharing and doing all the things. So again, thank you. Thank you so much. And I will catch you on the next episode. Big love as always for being here today. I appreciate you so much supporting this project. Here's to truth, unity, the mystical, and the magical. If you want to connect more, hit me up on the gram at magic, magick.maven. I'm a lover and maker of herbal potions, beautiful environments, brands, adventures, and wild crafts. So if that's something that lights you up, I am always up to some wacky adventure and would love to connect with you there. If you feel called to share this episode, please do. This is a passion project. I'm not doing any sponsorship at this time, so it would mean the world. Thanks again, and see you on the next episode.